Hello and welcome to the Merle and Locke podcast. I'm Merle.
And I'm Locke.
Set sail and low expectations for everything nerd, accompanied by a healthy, albeit shameful, helping to pointless banter, lack of focus, and questionably acquired knowledge.
And more.
And more. So today you have a topic for us, Locke. If you can get your stomach to settle down, good lord.
Relax, stomach. You already ate.
Did you eat like a pound of cheese for breakfast? What's going on here?
No, I had a Stromboli. Which
right.
I mean, I guess kind of counts. There's cheese in there, but there's so much sausage for some whatever reason. and I feel like it's going to be the sausage that does me in. But yeah, anyway, topic at hand. I wanted to talk about building better equipment for those of us who have total lack of self-control or just plain doppy as hell, where we just drop things on like our keyboards or our mouse, making us have sticky keys and whatever other things that you can think of. I have one other idea, something that accidentally happened, but I want you to start it off first, and then I'll go into my story.
All right, let's start with this. Now, for the longest time, I've had this mechanical keyboard. This thing I've kept alive for a long time. It's my favorite keyboard, solely because the amount of times that it's broken and I've been able to fix it. As far as it breaking, it's never been from anything like dropping it or hitting it with anything or spilling anything on it necessarily. It's more just because it's over like 7, 8 years old. But it got to a point where we started doing some recordings and we were able to hear the click clacks. We both agreed that I would get a new keyboard, one that with silent keys, low profile and quiet keys. So I had that for a while, I feel. Maybe a year-ish I've had it. The other day, I was playing some video games with my brother. I was having a cup of coffee. I don't know what was going. I think we were in the middle of something that crossed my mind in the middle of like this fight or something that we were doing. I can't remember what it was exactly. I was like, oh, my coffee's getting cold. I better take a sip. I really need to invest in one of those little heating coasters or something, or candle warmer or something like that to keep my coffee cup on because I get distracted. I decided to try and take a drink quick. I kind of like had my hand bent backwards and was trying to just grab the handle quick and then bring it up to my mouth. It didn't work out so well. I ended up tossing coffee all over myself and then all over my keyboard. It was hot. And I was like, crap. And I tried to drop my coffee cup real quick onto my coaster.
The panic and fear set in.
Yeah, and my coaster is made out of glass. And I shattered the coaster. It just burst into pieces, got all over me, all these shards of glass, and some of it stuck into my feet. And I was just like freaking out, like, what the hell is happening? And my daughter had a snow day that day, and she comes running in. She's like, what's happening? And I tell her what I did, and she starts laughing at me.
You're in pain. You got bloody feet. And there she is making fun of you. A grown man.
Just a complete mess of a human being at the moment. But I cleaned up everything, got everything dried off. I was playing games later on with some buddies, and my keys were sticking. I don't put anything in my coffee, so I didn't think that my keys would get sticky. But they still did. And so I was like, all right, guys, I gotta break because I can't play with these sticky keys. My shift would constantly get stuck and my movement keys were getting stuck. So I took a break and I took apart my keyboard, got some isopropyl alcohol, started popping off the keys and cleaning everything within to smooth things out, and everything was good. I cleaned up everything. None of the keys were sticking anymore. Everything was fine. And I plugged my keyboard back in, and my computer insisted that I was continuously holding down control. So every time I tried to hit any other key on the keyboard, my PC would just do something crazy.
There you go. Your sticky keys.
It was just a whole bunch of shortcuts that I didn't even know existed. Like things just started popping up all over the place. And I was like, what is going on? I tried to open like my word processor and tried to type something in to see what it was exactly, but I couldn't type anything in because I was apparently holding down control the whole time.
You're pasting things, you're copying things. You're deleting things you didn't know you had or that were important.
So I had to retire that keyboard, and I dug out of the closet old Click Clack again.
I can't wait for that to kill us during more silent games.
For sure.
That's really what did us in.
Well, I have a better mic now, so maybe it won't pick it up. I don't know.
Hopefully. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
I had a keyboard, did the same exact thing. I had to change that out before we got on to do some recording because it was just doing all sorts of things to my computer, just scrolling through everything that I had on my taskbar. And I'm like, what is going on? To find out that my S key was just permanently stuck down. I know what happened. I mean, there are a couple sticky keys, both because of me and my cat, because it's one of those situations where I might knock it over trying to get something and my table would tip, and then I'd try to fumble for it, and just everywhere. Or my cat thinks I can clear that, and she does, spilling my drink in the process. So they don't exactly let you get reimbursed because your pets are destroying your electronics. They want you to buy a 2 or 3 year plan, and by that point, your animal's going to wait until after that plan's up to destroy your thing.
It's just the way of things, right?
It's the way of things. But another thing that had ever happened to me, I had a nice touchscreen laptop. I bought it when I was going to college, but one day I was trying to go for something. I was in pretty much a one-room apartment, so I didn't have a whole lot of room, and I had my laptop down on the floor. So I went to kind of crawl and grab something, and I heard this crunch. Lo and behold, I had kneeled down onto my laptop screen, cracking the screen, and I was like, oh no. And it was kind of like a baby who had just tried to stick a fork in a light socket. You're like, no. Are you okay? So here I am grabbing my laptop. I open it up and it's just doing all sorts of things. It's like I was touching everything on the screen, and I was like, oh no. So I had to do a deep dive and figure out there has to be a way. And I even asked some of my professors, I said, there has to be a way to turn off the touch function to this laptop and make it functional again. And there was. I had to go into all sorts of settings to be able to find it. And then I just used it like a normal laptop. It just sucked that I had a giant crack in it, and I will forever remember that it was my own dumb fault. But why can't they make things more durable?
Oh, man, I know. I feel like breaking keyboards were pretty rare for me, or screens. Never really broke any screens. But I've also had problems with, I guess, like little problems, mostly with mice. My mice usually last me a while. I mean, it's just so devastating when your mouse just starts malfunctioning. It's the worst, especially the scroll wheel. Okay. Now, the scroll wheel. That's, okay. So there's been many times in the past where I've had scroll wheels go out, and you just don't consider it until it happens. Just how often you use that damn scroll wheel and how inconvenient life is without it.
You try to zoom in and it just no. Oh,
my last mouse that I had, what was it? A Razer Naga or something? Yeah, it was a Naga. The scroll wheel went out. I feel like I didn't have this mouse for too long. It was probably like 2 years or something like that. I say not too long, but in the grand scheme of things, if you are constantly on your PC, that's a pretty long time, I think, from constant use. And so it lasted a while, and the scroll wheel went out, but everything else with it worked fine. And I was like, okay, I can do this, because I like to use things until they just don't work any longer. It got to a point where everything took so much longer to do, especially like editing. A lot of different video games where the scroll wheel was essential. And I was like, this sucks so bad. I hate this. And I tried all the tricks. I tried spraying compressed air in and around the scroll wheel. I'd taken the mouse apart, and I started like Q-tipping all the sensors, trying to clean everything up. Like I didn't know what it was exactly that was causing the malfunction. But I found out with the Razer Naga, it was like a commonality. You know, people would often have that problem with it after so long. but some people would be able to fix it by using those methods. And I tried it again and again and again, and it would work for maybe a total of 5 minutes, and then it go right back to malfunctioning again. I decided, you know what? I just have to get a new mouse. It's fine. And ever since I've gotten this new one, I've been so thankful, and I appreciate it so much more having a working scroll wheel. It's just
it's the little
so
things in
nice.
life.
It
really
is. I'm like, it's such a small thing, but God, I love it so much.
I was living as a high-class society, and when it stopped working, I felt so distraught.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always had those issues with the cheap mouses because I didn't always have the money to fork out to get a nice expensive one, because those ones seem to last longer. I mean, I would hope so. You pay the money, might as well last you. But every time I went and bought like a $20 maybe to $40 mouse, it was like it didn't hold up. Not for as long as it should, even for $40, you know? I don't know if it's just like they're programming it, if it's just something that's in it that faults out after so long.
It's always all these, peripheral pieces of equipment and whatnot that you often have issues with. As far as headphones go, I mean, they're not usually too much of an issue, I think. I mean, my biggest gripe with them is very dependent on how often you use your headphones. And I know some people, they opt for speakers. Most nerdy folk, we solely use headphones and that's it. When we're on our PC, we're in our own little world. We don't want to share with the rest of the room, even though in my case, where I'm mostly by myself, I still hog up all the sound so I can just ignore all the gunshots and screeching tires outside my windows.
I was going to say, I don't think that it's that I don't want to share with the rest of the room. I want to say that I want to be more focused, and it's very hard for me to think about what I want to do while hearing a bunch of other sounds.
Right. But I feel like most cases with my headphones especially, the biggest thing is the pads on the ears. I have to get very specific about the pads on the ears nowadays because, sometimes you get these headphones which are really, really nice, but they have these earmuffs that have this pleather kind of material, but it's about a quarter the thickness of the pleather that you're used to in like clothing lines and what have you. And it wears away rather quickly. And when it starts wearing away just from use, or, moisture or oils from your skin, whatever it may be, it starts just flaking off and it starts getting in your ears, in your hair.
I'm curious to know what headsets you're buying because I actually have not had this issue.
You've never had that issue?
No,
ever?
Not at all.
Really?
I've had a lot of headsets, especially now, that almost make me feel like I'm an air fighter pilot.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You've seen them. You've seen my headset.
I have seen them.
It makes me feel like I'm an air pilot, and I have not had issues with them. It's just Jane Doe tries to call out to me. I have no idea what's going on until all of a sudden I feel a tip tap at my leg. And she's like, hey, I was talking to you. And I'm like, I had no idea.
Oh, oops.
I feel like an old man who's just zoned out on the couch. And you're like, pay attention to me.
Now, if we're going into the last crucial thing when it comes to like PC gaming and whatnot, it's the microphone. I've never had too many issues with my mics. But all the people that I've played games with, I've talked to online, it seems like everyone has microphone issues.
It's me. I know it's me. You're talking about me.
It is you. It is absolutely 100% you. But
no, there's a few others. I know it's not just me.
Yeah. There's quite a few others, and I've helped people in the past with trying to suss out the issue, but it often requires people to cough up some cash for a decent microphone because you definitely get what you pay for when it comes to microphones. That's 100% tracks. If you're trying to just get a nice pair of headphones with the little mic on it, you're paying for the headphones. You're not paying for the microphone. That microphone is most likely going to be complete shit. I'm sorry to say.
It's a little $5 piece. They're just like, meh, everything else can work great.
I've tried to get people in the past, tried to tell them, I know you think it's convenient that your headphones have a mic attached, but you need to get a freestanding microphone, one of good quality, if you don't want to, I guess, inconvenience everyone else with your awful audio quality. I mean, especially like the people that get those ones that pick up the entire block of where they live. Those are the worst. Or the people that are in a screaming household and it's insufferable to the point where you mute them for most of the time until someone else starts bringing attention to that person. Be like, hey, they're trying to talk to you. Can you hear them? It's like, oops, unmute. What was that? You know?
And then you hear the screaming again and you're like, sorry, I'm just not going to hear you for the rest of this game.
Yeah, just mute him again.
It's nothing against you.
Nothing against you, but quit being a cheap ass and get a good microphone. You want to get a new console? Fuck that. Get a new microphone so we can actually stand to play with you. Good Lord. But yeah, as far as the quality of all these different devices that we utilize, yes, unfortunately, I think it's important to put in the investment, you know, especially if it's something that you do often. And if you play with other people, you want good quality, you got to cough up the cash, unfortunately. I know it sucks.
Yeah, no, that it does. I actually even thought of another thing. It was a situation that happened to me. So I was at work. I do a lot of stuff that ends up getting me static charged. And we utilize touch screens. And you don't realize how beneficial having a touch screen, since you don't have a mouse, is. So here I am. I got myself statically charged. I forgot to ground myself out. I went and touched the touchscreen, and wouldn't you know, I ended up disabling the whole feature. It would no longer register my touch because I shocked the screen. And I went, oh no. It's a good thing that we had a keyboard with a little mouse pad to be able to maneuver around, but it is so slow in comparison. Once I switched back to that, and I kept forgetting too, I kept touching the screen even though I knew that I just screwed it up. Go back and touch it, I go, that's right.
Now, the question is whether or not running into all these issues, is it due to these companies not putting enough quality parts into their products, or is it due to consumer incompetence?
I definitely don't want to say too much on their part, but yeah, it is definitely a part of them being a little cheap on it.
We're going to stick with that. We're going to stick. It's all the company's fault. It's not due to our incompetence.
There are ways of building things around to stop situations like that, right? I'm trying to think of a way that you could probably ground somebody or ground the computer in a way that if static touches it, it's not going to stop something from working. I don't know what exactly it was that I did.
It's just one of those things where we're going to presume that there is a technology to do so, and we're going to ask the company, why not do it? Oh, man. What is wrong with us? Oh, if you enjoy the Merle and Locke podcast, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/MerleandLocke or simply follow the link in the description. Thank you.